The fierce energy, carrying a demonic aura, exploded in mid-air, sweeping across the entire area. Yunxiao panicked, without a moment to think. The long saber in his hand spun several times in front of his chest, barely forming a defense as thick as a copper wall. Hu Yin watched with a pounding heart. In just an instant, a dying man had unleashed such astonishing power, his half-dead appearance vanishing completely as a single move swept away his frailty and cleanly reversed the situation. A mysterious light flashed, the sound of destruction spread, and Yunxiao let out another low, muffled roar. The direction of the fan in his hand shifted as he flicked his wrist down. The ground cracked like a breaking wafer, and a terrifying force surged up from the earth's ley lines, which Yunxiao and Hu Yin finally could no longer endure. The two spat out a mouthful of blood. Their bodies were sent flying, and the long sabers in their hands trembled to the limit, before shattering into pieces. Yunxiao's folding fan had just retracted when it slashed straight toward Hu Yin. A sense of terror filled both their hearts, for this scene was far too bizarre. Even a legendary divine medicine could not have made him recover instantly and become even stronger than before. Enough, stop now. Jia suddenly spoke. The folding fan in Yunxiao's hand immediately veered off course, slashing violently into the ground. Jia chuckled softly and said leisurely, "This is enough fighting. Don't damage the harmony. You are all about to become one family. One family." An ominous premonition rose in Hu Yin's heart. She had now lost all power to choose her own destiny, and could only leave herself to be slaughtered. Jia laughed again and said, "You find it strange, don't you?" He was clearly dying, yet suddenly he's as vigorous as ever. Jia continued with a meaningful smile, "That is because I bestowed power upon him. This power is not only inexhaustible but can also enhance one's existing foundation. He was originally only a 4-star martial emperor, but after receiving my power, he quickly reached the peak of 4-star and even touched the 5-star level. How is this possible? Who exactly are you?" Hu Yin's face turned pale with fear. Above the martial emperor realm, every single star was harder to achieve than cultivating from the beginning to the martial emperor realm itself. Such power was truly incomprehensible. A cold look appeared at the corner of Jia's mouth as he gave a chilling smile. "You will soon know that it is all true. As for who I am, it's simple, just like him. You may call me master." His figure suddenly vanished, turning into a mass of demonic energy that struck Yunxiao directly. Yunxiao screamed in terror. He struggled and resisted, writhing in pain for a few moments before falling completely silent. Although Hu Yin was not hit, her entire body felt ice, cold as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. She let out a panicked scream and turned into a streak of firelight, attempting to flee. "Where do you think you were going?" Yunxiao shouted. The wuji fan in his hand flew out, striking her firelight directly. The shock of the impact forced her to the ground, blood gushing out incessantly. Hu Yin no longer had the slightest doubt about what Jia had said. After their clash, she clearly felt that Yunxiao's current strength was at least at the peak of 4-star. Her consciousness quickly faded into darkness, and she only managed to see a dark shadow rushing straight toward her. Before long, in front of the steps leading to the Great Hall, two figures stood side by side, both bowing respectfully before Jia. Jia said nonchalantly, "The strength of these 3 demon servants is not bad. Keeping you around still has its uses. After this is over, I will deal with you. For now, tell me everything you know." He slowly raised his hands. Both hands immediately plunged into their heads, and every scene that had just occurred in the hall was thoroughly viewed by him, leaving nothing out. Time flowed by slowly. It wasn't until the time it takes to finish a cup of tea that those images gradually faded and disappeared. A bright light flashed into Jia's eyes as he coldly muttered, "So it's that kid." The jade stele in his hand still feels familiar. I just can't recall it for the moment. He rubbed his forehead hard, his face full of rage. That saber also gives me a sense of familiarity, yet I still can't remember. Those damned clones have stolen too many memories, confusing my mind unbearably. Sooner or later, I will retrieve all my memories and strength. All you clones, just wait. As his emotions gradually settled, Emperor Jia regained his calm composure and said in an icy voice, "That brat absolutely cannot be let go. But before dealing with him, there are still a few ants to clear away first." He laughed coldly towards the void, and said, "Show yourself, you ant. Have you had your fill after spying for so long?" Emperor Jia snorted coldly, and a black light shot out from his hand. The space in front immediately tore open, revealing the malevolent figure of Heightened. Emperor Jia said coldly, "Hiding in the void from early on. How much longer did you intend to watch?" Heightened replied in panic, "How could you see through me? Doesn't this place suppress divine sense? The master's power reaches the heavens. It's not something you can comprehend." King Heath roared angrily, "Heightened, you are truly audacious. So you arrived long ago, saw me in danger, and didn't save me. Your schemes are deep, and your methods are truly sinister. A strange glint flashed in Hythan's eyes as he looked at King Heath and sneered. Lord King is still alive. What a pity. A great figure once high and mighty in Anguide has become a slave to someone else. King Heath's face turned purple with rage. I am still Marcel, even as a slave, and must consider who I serve. It's fortunate you didn't save me, for thanks to that, I had the opportunity to become the master's slave. Upon hearing this, Hythan felt a cold shiver down his spine. What kind of dark magic is this? Emperor Jia chuckled faintly. Their souls are still intact. They simply recognized my greatness, and voluntarily became my servants. I see your strength isn't bad either, so I offer you that opportunity. Hythan broke out in a cold sweat, and quickly waved his hand. No thanks, I can bear it. Among your 3 slaves, there is someone who killed my junior apprentice brother. Now seeing him find happiness, I am happy for him. Let old grievances be forgotten. Emperor Jia laughed softly. No need to be modest. You are qualified to enjoy my glory. The more slaves I had, the better my appetite. A fierce expression appeared on Emperor Jia's face as he immediately manifested his 3-headed, 6-armed Tarmat image. A massive demon claw clasped straight at Hythan. He had no time to dodge and quickly opened a surrounding blood barrier to set up a defense. At that very moment, an anomaly occurred. The demon claw vanished in mid-air before it even landed, leaving behind only a faint trace of demonic energy. Emperor Jia's body shook violently, his full strength continuously decreasing, and his face twisted with rage. Hythan saw this. He immediately turned into a streak of bloodlight, and fled. King Heath shouted in alarm. Damn Hythan, you ignorant ant. The master granted you supreme glory, yet you show no gratitude, truly deserving of death. Emperor Jia's expression immediately became extremely fierce and savage. He said in a deep voice, Despicable clone, how dare you plot against me from behind? This feeling seems to indicate you are very close to me now. This 3rd physical body cannot be ignored either. Retrieve it. My ancient god battlefield shall also return together with it. He shifted his gaze into the great hall, and said coldly, The native rank profound artifact has gained sentience. After I subdue you, you will temporarily serve as my saber. Emperor Jia enveloped the 3 people around him, turned into a streak of black light, and dashed into the great hall. Amidst the endless tremors, the world god tablet silently hovered in mid-air, with light patterns flowing across its surface. No one knew how much time had passed. The stream which originally flowed continuously suddenly dried up, revealing a desolate deep pit. Spiritual energy dissipated along with the disappearing water flow, and this place transformed it into a silent space. Inside the world god tablet, one entity, immersed in a state of self-forgetfulness, finally slowly opened his eyes. He felt that the heavens and earth had become unusually clear. All the power of rules within the world god tablet had undergone tremendous changes. Moments of enlightenment appeared in his mind. This change in rules tended towards completion and perfection. The 4 domains of earth, water, fire, and wind expanded simultaneously, revealing complete world power. Only now could the world within the world god tablet be considered truly complete. He gradually sank deep into the mysterious changes of the rules, focusing on perceiving the primordial heavens and earth. The Tao gives birth to all things. He was like a progenitor, himself embodying the heavens and earth, nurturing all things to grow, and his consciousness also subtly evolved here. Heaven and earth opened up from chaos. Existence emerged from nothingness. Existence itself is the Tao, the source of all rules and phenomena. Following the stream of endless evolution, various rules gradually gave rise to the boundary Tao, establishing the order of the world. Rules originate from the Tao. They are the framework of the heavens and earth. From there, all things multiply and flourish, expanding into a vast great world. This was the heavenly Taoist deduction for the world within the tablets. Each rule was continuously deduced and formed by the heavenly Tao. Subsequently, everything was deeply engraved into his sea of consciousness. At this moment, he merged with the world god tablet into one entity. During the process of the world's transformation, Yunxiao was shocked to see the power of laws gathering into golden characters. From the origin of the Tao to its end, every character was condensed from laws, eventually merging into the great world god art. It turned out these characters were condensed from laws, explaining why each word represented a type of law power. Yunxiao's eyes were filled with shock as he muttered that the laws of heaven and earth could usually only be perceived with supreme wisdom, yet ancient experts could describe and record them with text. Such divine ability was truly hair-raising, and using it to simulate heaven and earth was a method that perhaps only those in the god realm could reach. Only then did the demon dragon recover from its shock. Looking toward the corpse parting saber and muttering a question about whether he was dead, Li Yunxiao let out a soft sigh and said slowly, both he and it are gone. The demon dragon sighed with a choked voice. The companion who had stood by its side for so many years was finally free, yet it hadn't expected such an ending for a powerhouse of a generation to be buried here. The skeleton had opened the water realm domain for Li Yunxiao as a fulfillment of its final wish, finding eternal rest, while the corpse-praying saber lost all life force after its master's departure, returning to its original form, and standing silently in the ground. The power contained within this saber surpassed Li Yunxiao's North Heaven Cold Star Sword and was in existence on the same level as the Dynasty Bell. Li Yunxiao reached out to take the saber and sighed softly, saying that no matter how great one's lifelong achievements were, they could not escape the flow of time. Time itself was the greatest heavenly Dao. As the corpse-parting saber came into his hand, several small characters appeared clearly on the blade. Li Yunxiao read them softly. One strike for 1,000 autumns. Besides, the name corpse-parting saber doesn't sound very pleasant, and your original name has faded into history along with your old master. From this day forward, he shall be named the 1,000 Autumns Tyrant Saber. After putting away the 1,000 Autumns Tyrant Saber, the Yunxiao flew out from beneath the divine monument. He looked at the completely dried up pond below, realizing that once the true dragon's tear vanished, the seal here had also dissolved. Li Yunxiao's gaze landed on a piece of metal lying deep at the bottom of the pond. He lightly exerted his strength to pull it, and the metal piece obediently flew before him. The moment he saw the object clearly, his pupils suddenly contracted. The iron piece suspended in mid-air continuously emitted demonic chi, producing a spine, chilling sizzling sound. A red light flashed in Li Yunxiao's eyes as his gaze pierced through the iron piece. He wanted to see everything clearly. It turned out to be a fragment of a cultivation technique recorded in the common script of the continent, titled the True Demon Dharma Idol. This is indeed a demonic art, Li Yunxiao thought in shock. The technique manifesting from the iron piece was a demonic divine ability. An image of a great demon comparable to Jia appeared, manifesting the true demon Dharma idol with 3 heads and 6 arms, possessing a spine, chilling power. The entire manifestation process lasted only as long as it takes to finish a cup of tea. Those diagrams then gradually faded and vanished into thin air. The iron piece fell back into Li Yunxiao's hand, looking as ordinary as could be. Li Yunxiao frowned as he considered practicing the true demon Dharma idol, while the 6 armed Dharma idol was indeed overbearing. Mastering it required demonic chi as a foundation, yet most ordinary people would lose their sanity and turn into demons once tainted by it. I'll study this slowly in the future, he snorted softly. After putting away the iron piece, his body transformed into a streak of light and rushed outside. He flew swiftly forward toward the spot where his starlight soul body had been destroyed earlier. The entire cave was man-made and spanned several hundred meters. As expected, that person was not yet dead. An unknown martial artist had appeared at some point and stood towering before him. He frowned deeply as one of them spoke up in confusion. I find it very strange. Where exactly were you hiding that you could bypass the blockade outside? Or did you crawl through a tunnel in this underground cave? These two were the ones who had killed Li Yunxiao's starlight soul body. His expression darkened significantly as he spoke in a cold voice. Those matters are of no significance to you. He suddenly swung his hand down, and a storm swirled within the earth. The great wind cloud palm directly swallowed the two of them, before the two could even let out a groan. Their chests and internal organs were crushed, their bodies were sent flying, and they died instantly. While Lintu turned into a flash of lightning, grasping their shoulders with both hands. Then, with a loud bang, he slammed them directly into the ground. The two first-star martial venerables were forced deep into the stone floor. Lintu controlled his strength precisely. If he accidentally killed them, he wouldn't be able to extract any information. Several seals in the burial ground Maitreya had already been broken, so where were the remaining seals located? He asked directly. I don't know. One of them answered faintly, his eyes full of hatred and fear as he looked at Lintu, emphasizing each word. We are from the holy domain. Stop talking nonsense. Lintu's eyes turned icy. He grabbed the man's leg with one hand and slammed him repeatedly against the ground, causing large cracks in the stone floor. Lintu looked down at him and said indifferently, do you remember now? The man was scared out of his wits, quickly nodding his head. I remember now. I understood from your very first move. Before long, all the information Lintu needed had been completely extracted. Lintu muttered to himself. So people from the holy domain and the divine transformation seed don't know that the seals contain a great demon. They thought it was an ancient secret to achieving godhood, which is why they were trying so hard to break them. Unexpectedly, they've already broken 4 places, adding the true dragon's eye where I am makes 7. Now there are only 2 seals left. This is extremely dangerous. He recalled what the skeleton had said. Only divine artifacts could suppress the demonic body. This showed how terrifying the great demon was. In the current heavenly martial world, those who could use divine artifacts were likely only Them and Ditfum, and himself. This is bad. I must immediately inform the person in charge here. Absolutely no more seals can be opened. Otherwise, if the demon body emerges, the continent will face disaster, he thought as he prepared to rush outside. Just then, another group of martial artists rushed over, shouting coldly, "Who goes there? Stop immediately." More than 10 streaks of light soared into the air, instantly surrounding him. A martial emperor expert stared at him, saying coldly, "Where did you rats crawl out from? Don't you know this is the core of the mighty tribe? Trespassers must die." Lintu forced a bitter smile, and replied, "This matter is difficult to explain in a short time. The highest person in charge here is Hadim. Right, I want to meet him. I have something extremely important to discuss." The martial emperor's face darkened. He said coldly, "Any cat or dog claims they want to see Lord Hadim. Since you want to explain clearly, surrender docilely first, then talk slowly." Lintu sighed. "I knew it would turn out this way. It's truly difficult to make them understand. In that case, let's fight." He stopped speaking, quickly forming hand seals with both hands. A square of 4 extremes, heaven and earth, condensed around his body. He let out a low growl and struck directly towards the martial emperor. The martial emperor showed a look of surprise mixed with seriousness. Seeing how young the opponent was, he thought he was at most a martial venerable. He hadn't expected this attack to be so powerful. The martial emperor paused for a moment, then formed a seal with his fist, directly meeting Lintu's 4 extremes seal. "No wonder you dared to be so arrogant. You really do have some skill." The martial emperor let out a cold laugh, his fist's power continuing unabated as he struck out. A single punch struck Lintu's body directly, crushing his figure. But it was only an afterimage. His true body had already transformed into lightning and disappeared. It seems that directly confronting a martial emperor head on is still too much for him right now. Trying to run away. Too naive. The martial emperor sneered coldly, with one hand forming a spell seal. A bright green light instantly appeared in the sky, enveloping the entire area. After a few breaths, Lintu's figure reappeared right in front of him. He looked coldly at the opponent. The martial emperor threw his head back and laughed heartily. The core area isn't a place where you can come and go as you please. This place is even more crucial. Formations are deployed on all sides. Even a fly shouldn't hope to enter or leave casually." Lintu stared at him blankly and asked leisurely, "Then, may I ask how I got in?" The martial emperor suddenly frowned as if he had just realized something. Then his expression darkened, and he shouted loudly, "Smooth-tongued, stay put for me." He immediately waved his hand, condensing a golden claw in mid-air and striking straight down. "Let me open my eyes and see your power." Yunxiao murmured softly. A blade glow rapidly condensed in his hand, taking the form of the eternal tyrant blade, and suddenly slashed out. Though the eternal tyrant blade lacked vitality, with Yunxiao's current strength, he still couldn't unleash its full power. This single strike directly drained the primordial energy from his body. The blade glow tore through the air and slashed directly at the golden cauldron. The power condensed from the Emperor Kai was actually completely shattered. Although that martial emperor hadn't exerted his full strength, his defense was still torn apart by this single strike. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. What kind of precious blade is this? The martial emperor thought in terror. How could I be wounded by a mere 3-star martial sovereign? Impossible. It must be an illusion. His eyes narrowed as wild joy filled his heart. That thing was actually a 9th-tier profound artifact. I've truly hit the jackpot today. Thumbing across a 9th-tier profound artifact, Yunxiao's face turned pale. His control over this blade was too poor. He hadn't expected his power to be completely drained, and now even his flight began to falter. Yunxiao watched coldly. It was still too forced for him to confront a martial emperor head on right now, so he was about to release Kalayan Shafuang to stall for time. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang in his ear. "Oh my, long time no see. Your strength has increased quite a bit." Yunxiao's entire body shuddered, and he immediately heightened his vigilance. He saw several more people suddenly appear on the field, except for Jian Hushu. They were all familiar faces, like Huqi Jin and Huo Yin, from whom he had only recently separated. The face of Dijia was even more of an old acquaintance, as they had met at both Mount Sumeru and the outer starry sky. "This body looks more pleasing the more I see it," Dijia said with a bright smile, speaking leisurely. "What's wrong? Don't recognize me anymore?" Yunxiao looked at him with a solemn face and stuttered. No. Dijia replied with a laugh. "What you this and you that? Have you really forgotten me?" Li Yunxiao replied with a bitter smile. Which head are you exactly? The head from Mount Sunru or the head from the outer starry sky? Di Chia gave a cold snort and said, Head my foot. You really have no respect for me at all. Subordinates, go and play with him for me. The group of henchmen immediately rushed forward with an intimidating aura.